This is another model from Diecast Masters. It is 85579 and it's the Caterpillar 966A wheel loader. The box goes on the weighbridge and the weighbridge says it's 1 pound 9 ounces and that's about 725 grams. Like many Diecast Masters offerings, it comes in an outer shipping carton, and we'll open that up to see what is inside. To help it out, we'll raise the tipping mechanism and out comes the inner box. It looks all white, and the reason for that is that there's an outer sleeve. So if we ease off that layer of protection, we finally get to the model box itself. And here you can see the box is decorated in an old style, and that's because this is another model in Diecast Masters' Vintage series. According to the box, the machine was made between 1960 and 1961, but we'll see more about that soon. On the back of the box there's a photo of the real machine and some information about it. And there's the usual set of warning labels and other stuff on the bottom. The box is in a hinge style with a little ribbon to prevent the top opening too much. And the first thing we see is that the model is protected with a plastic former. So if you want, you could just display it in the box like this. Or you can take it out of the box, and as you can see, the model is fixed to its base plate. There are some other things included tucked inside the lid of the box. As usual, there's a Diecast Masters mini brochure and it's the 2022 edition. And there's also a blank nameplate. An unusual inclusion is a display board. It's got a hole drilled in each corner so you could secure it to a wall. And on this side you've got the nice looking graphic, and on the back there's information about the real 966A. And on this it says the machine was built between 1960 and 1963. For completeness, there's also more information on the inside of the box lid. Come rain or shine, it's assembly time, and in this case that means putting up an umbrella. To do that, we essentially have to insert a long steel pin into a holder on the model. And it's not quite the easiest thing to do because you don't really want to push down on the umbrella and break it. So it's best to gently ease it in. Then if you want to complete the display of the model, you can use your plate and show whichever side you prefer. A blank nameplate is included, and that's presumably in case you don't want to display the 966A on the base. To remove the existing nameplate, you press up through a hole in the bottom, and the base plate flies off into orbit. Then if you want, you can put the blank in, although actually you could just reverse the engraved plate. To reinsert the plate, you just ease it into the slots at each end. The base plate has a silvered surface and it's actually covered by a protective film which you could remove if you wish, although it's best to remove the model first to do that. The nameplate is nicely engraved and it says the years built were 1960 to 1963. The model has the older style tyres, and at the back things look good with lights and the Caterpillar name, and the grille which is formed of a decent texture. There are two simple lights at the back. The detailing of the wheels is very good, with bolt heads being visible, and there are textured steps leading upwards with one of them not quite level on the review model, and above the wheel arch there's an air intake component. The straight exhaust pipe looks like it's got a hole at the top, and the plastic umbrella has got sharp graphics. There's a fixed operator and the detail includes Caterpillar on his cap, and the controls include a steering wheel and a couple of levers on one side. And they're soft plastic so they won't snap off. There's some nice texturing along the walkway surfaces. Moving on to the loader arms, and all of the connection rivets have painted heads. But there are no hydraulic hoses running to the rams. There are some very nice small sharp graphics printed on. And the bucket is a metal part with decent teeth. The main functionality for the model can be tested while it's still on its base, and that includes rotating the wheels. And the model sits slightly high on a plastic support to allow that to happen. This machine has rear axle steering, and the model replicates that reasonably well. The mechanical linkages for the bucket are quite stiff, and that's true of the hydraulic rams also, but that does mean there's no problem holding a pose. With the bucket raised up high, we can get a tipping angle which is exceptionally good. If we lower the bucket all the way back down, then we find that the carry angle is pretty moderate, so it'll be hard to get a bucket full. If you don't want to display the model on its base, you can remove it, and the way to do that is by unscrewing 2 screws that are underneath the base. They are a bit tough to start with, but they haven't been glued, so it's just a matter of applying enough force to rotate the screwdriver. And when the screws are undone, the model just lifts off of the base. And there you can see the plastic support pedestal that it's been resting on. That now gives us a chance to look underneath the model, and it's good that the wheels spin independently, and you get a chance to see the steering mechanism at work. Rolling along, and the 966A is fine in a straight line, and with the steering set it rolls pretty well too because of the independently turning wheels. With the model set free from its base, we can now check how much it weighs, and it's a bit over 6 ounces, which is only 180 grams. This is another very well presented model in Diecast Masters Vintage series. The model itself has got some nice detailing, and the simple functionality works well enough. It's always nice to see models of historic machines, and this one by Diecast Masters is very good.